Where Colin was right?
When the Giants let Saquon Barkley go to the Eagles, we said the worst part about this is Saquon's going to humiliate you twice a year, and once at home and in front of your bosses. It is a bad Monday in the Giants facility. Saquon had more yards than the Giants did in total. And, yes, he got booed, but I mean, you got to be careful. There's a reason there's the old term, never trade in division. Well, you don't want to trade your best player to your arch rival in division. And I guarantee you, it is walking on eggshells in the Giants facility today. Here's Saquon after.
I probably talked a little more today than I usually do. I didn't help myself when I said earlier in the week I didn't think I was going to get booed. But they're booing for a reason. It's a compliment at the end of the day. That's how I took it.
A great player getting his. Congratulations.
Where Colin.
All right. So let's talk about this. I thought this was a game that the Philadelphia Eagles definitely needed, right? Without a doubt. To be clear, it is against the Giants. So there's only so many strong takeaways, especially defensively against the Giants and Daniel Jones. But I think there was a lot of great things to take away from this game that I think end up being irrelevant of who you're necessarily playing, how weak or strong the opponent is. I mean, right, a 28-3 win is great. I mean, it was the game that a lot of people wanted the Eagles to have versus the Browns, right? That was the game, but they got in versus the Giants instead, which honestly is quite frankly probably even better. Right, started the game, they had nothing going offensively, but it was good that the defense was able to keep the momentum. And Hurts kept having the pocket collapse, and the fact that he was able to kind of manage that, I think, continues to be impressive, continues to see his own growth as well. It feels to me more than anything that Jalen Hurts just ultimately has the most amount of trust in AJ Brown and nothing else, because that's like the only guy that he really, really, truly feels that he trusts throwing to. And it's not like he's just throwing these 50-50 balls and AJ just makes a play. Right, AJ obviously can make a play. He's an absolute beast and an absolute animal. But you saw the throws that he made to AJ, right? I mean, like, they were perfect pinpoint throws. Like, anybody could have caught those, right? It wasn't like AJ just had to made an unbelievable catch, right? He wasn't bailing out Hurts. But it's that level of trust that he has with AJ, where if it ends up being a play that AJ needs to make, he can, obviously, as we've seen over the years. So it's just so fascinating to me that I would like to see him evolve that. But it's the same thing that we see with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is on that level, but we've seen that these quarterbacks, they gain a lot of trust with their receivers, and they're just on that level with them. It's funny to me because so many people doubted that the tush push would be able to continue to work, or that offensive line would be able to be legit without Jason Kelce. But the reality is the Eagles arguably have the best offensive line coach in NFL, right? Jason Kelce sees him as like a father figure, just absolutely loves it. And you can see that the tush push continues to work. Mark Sanchez even highlighted how great Cam has been, and just what they've been able to do with Saquon Barkley. This is what I love to see, because you can see, and it's harder to see in the film, like when you're watching the regular footage. Sometimes when you're doing a run game, it really does feel like you're just handing the ball off, and it just looks like the offensive line and the defensive line are just smashing into each other, and it's like, all right, the running back just has to find a hole or find their best way to get on the outside and go, right? Like, it doesn't really feel like that there's effort or intent in the run game. And then the teams that are really great at running, you can see they're doing specific things with their offensive line. There's all these schemes. Like, it can get just as complex or just under as complex as when we see like really innovative offensive passing plays, right? When you see some, and I don't want to say trickery, it's just, you just see more things happening, right? You can see the way how a certain play develops, right? It's not just, hey, you run real fast, try to run by everyone and I'm just going to throw it, right? Like, just straight up backyard ball. There's actual play designs. And you have that for the run game, even though oftentimes it doesn't look like that. It's just like, hey, we're hand the ball off and go. Against the Giants, they actually had a legitimate plan of attack, right? It was like they actually worked on it and said, we want to get things going. We not only did Barkley get big runs because of Barkley, but it was because of Cam. It was because of the O-line making moves. And considering that there was all these injuries on the O-line, I think that's awesome to be able to see. I think they were down 2 starting O-line again, right? I think it was Becton and Mailata. So to be able to see that, I think is awesome. Last week against the Browns, the run game did not feel intentional. It felt, well, we're supposed to run the ball. We got to. Everyone keeps yelling at us for not running the ball. So we're just going to hand it off to Saquon. And surprise, surprise, the run game didn't do much. This was like, hey, we want to highlight Saquon Barkley. And he got 176 yards in 3 quarters. I mean, like when you put your mind to it, you can do it. That's a cliche, but it's real, right? I think I can. And then you have an insane throw on 4th and 3 to AJ, right? Pocket collapsing off his back foot. Right? I mean, like, and he just throws him a no-doubter. I mean, it was just a beautiful play call, and a beautiful pass. Like, it was if it's one of those things where if it doesn't come out right, then you're just like, what the heck was that? But that is the confidence that they can have in Hurts and AJ. I think the Philadelphia Eagles ultimately need to be really healthy. They're not a resilient team in that regard, right? You can see the 49ers are falling apart right now. But if they had Ayuk and Debo and, Christian McCaffrey, they're a top team in the NFL. And I think the Eagles need to continue to win and play healthy to really figure out who they are, because I still have my concerns about, say, a Nick Sirianni. But the defense continues to get better. The offense is clearly a completely different beast when they're healthy, right? I think Jalen Hurts needs to continue to grow. I think they need to kind of continue to find ways to get everyone more involved, right? Getting Devontae more involved. I know Goddard's down, but just getting it not so A.J. Brown centered, but still recognizing, yeah, A.J. is the guy. Like Sanchez also pointed out, you had A.J. 101. Just if you got A.J. 101, just go for it, man. Who cares? Who cares if you're targeting him heavy? Just do it, right? Like that's what you do. That's the play. But Saquon is just an absolute beast. I mean, again, 176 yards, touchdown versus the Giants on the road in 3 quarters. I mean, the dude could have broke over 200 easy. I mean, just wild. Hurts was 10 for 14, 119 rating, no turnovers. Had some big key runs, 3 total touchdowns. I think he's still taking too many shots. That always makes me uncomfortable. Just look at Jaden Daniels now, went down. He took a shot, right? I mean, it was like he just went through a brick wall. And it's just like, the Eagles fans know that that's not sustainable, right? We know that he gets banged up and you need him healthy. So I just would love to find a way to minimize that. But overall, I think this game was an important game. It was a get-right game for the Eagles. It signals to them, hey, we're not in a free-for-all. We're a good team. We had some injuries. We had some rough games. But we're not a disaster. Everyone kept saying, look at them being a disaster from last season, right? They lost to the Giants. They lost to backup quarterbacks, right? They couldn't get right. Last year, they couldn't win this game. They wouldn't have beat the Browns last year, right? At the end of the season. So they're proving, no. We may not be exactly where we want to be. We're not 2022 just yet, but we're not 2023 end of season either. We're getting this going. We're getting more comfortable with our offensive and defensive coordinators. We're getting healthy. We're getting these back. Although we're getting healthier, but then we're also losing players. So we're still showing some resilience. Maybe not as much resilience as we would like, but we're getting there. So I think there's some good takeaways from this. But again, make no mistake about it, this was against the New York Giants, which I don't think they're a great team. Some people argue that they're better than not because, again, usually a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans were like, the Giants are actually pretty good. They're not as bad. And it's saying, I don't know. So it depends, right? If you want to make the argument, oh, the Giants are actually a pretty good team, I don't necessarily think so. And I think that was kind of proven. So again, Eagles fans can't just be like, that's right, 28-3. Everything has to be put into perspective. but I still think it was a good win. It was a convincing win. It was a dominant win. It was, you watch that game the whole time and you think the Eagles are clearly the better team. They're not just fortunate to get away with a victory. They are clearly better offensively and defensively. And, you know, that's ultimately all you're looking for in a game like this. And so the division is still up for grabs. I don't know what the story is with Jaden Daniels. Don't have a tremendous amount of faith in the Cowboys. And so, yeah, the name of the game is just obviously to keep winning, but also just continue to get healthy, continue to have the belief in themselves. Because I think if they played another rough game against the Giants, either they lose, or let's say it's just a close game like the Browns, there would just be more doubt, more heat, more conversations. What's going on, right? And it's just players looking over their shoulders. A game like this helps everyone to be like, no, we got this. We're a good team. We can get better. We need to improve. There's still way more room to grow, but it's okay, right? We're not homeless right now. We want to build a better house, but at least we're not homeless. And, you know, sometimes that's all you can ask for earlier on in the season. It's really now, what do you continue to do moving forward? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles win over the Giants, Saquon Barkley's big game? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.